Hello everybody, and time for once again a bit of a recap. So the previous month I was not very active. I didn't manage to read or finish or do all that much stuff. So I decided to combine these 2 months into this one video, uh, which was a good idea. I've been still really busy, but fortunately I did a lot of good stuff this month. I had 2 concerts, which, that did keep me a bit busy. And I've been busy organizing a couple of things. There's a lot of real life stuff that has been going on behind the scenes, which has put a little of a pause once again to the video production. Yeah, you know how it is. I'm gonna continue apologizing for stuff that's kind of forced to happen. Also been applying to school, that's a thing. And I got like concentration helping like ADHD medication, which, yeah, that has been helping. I'm gonna be discussing that, like how we wanna proceed with that with my doctor soon enough. But that's enough about my real life situation, so let's move on to the media that I've been consuming. So first of all, I want to talk about Fire Punch, because I finished that in the very last part of last month. And my goodness, that manga is definitely something special. Now, I've of course been keeping up with Chainsaw Man, which I'll maybe do like something about that later on, but I really wanted to check out Fire Punch, and finishing it, I must say it has been a unique experience. It is a manga like no other, and it is very unique. I did enjoy it, generally speaking, or it intrigued me quite a bit, but it's very difficult to recommend the series, because it's really, really freaking weird. Not in the way that JoJo is weird, but in the way that the story is very absurd. So, yeah. But still, I did like it, and if you do want like a special kind of story, I would kind of recommend it, because it is very unique, very striking, and it does arouse quite a lot of thoughts in you. So, it's pretty interesting. The second manga that I managed to finish, I finished it a little while ago during time of recording, like a week ago. The manga is Rikudou. I previously already spoke about this. It's a boxing manga. I managed to finish it, which was surprisingly difficult. Not because it's grotesque or anything like that, no, au contraire. It's very, the art style is very, very nice looking. I would say it's beautiful, but I don't know. It's very, heavy and slow to get through, even though things happen constantly, and it steadily moved on to the conclusion, which, yeah, it was a fine enough of a conclusion. But, and all of the events, it wasn't boring at any point, but I don't know, I found it very difficult to engage with the story, and I don't exactly know why. It was really good, I enjoyed it. It's actually, for sports manga, I would really quite heavily recommend it if you want a boxing manga other than Hajime no Ippo. And not that those are the only two, of course, there's a lot more, but those are the two that delve very, very heavily into boxing. And yeah, it's really interesting. I wish I liked it more, but it was still enjoyable. And now we move on to talking about the animations that I've watched during this, well, all of these were during this month. And the first one, of course, as you can see from the picture, will be Amazing Digital Circus Episode 2, which, yeah, it was pretty fun. It was really creative, interesting, and striking, and it had the same kind of vibe that the first episodes or the pilot had, and yeah, I did really enjoy it. It was really fun. It was interesting, and well, it has its appeal. So, if you have watched the pilot, yeah, if you liked it, if you like the pilot, you'll probably like it. I did quite enjoy it. There are things that I wish that it did more. Not that I was bored, but I wish it would go more into details about some things, and it still feels like it's building up speed, but hey, that's fine. And there's things being put into place, but it feels like there isn't any cohesion yet. Like cohesive overarching narrative, which is something that I really, really do enjoy. But it's still a fun enough ride, so it's fine. The second animation that my friend showed me and we watched together, he had watched them earlier, but this was not the first time that I ran into these animations, but the first time that I watched all of them, and that is Daria Cohen's Vampair, which are, you know, less gothic-inspired vampire style, like taking very heavy influences, but being very entertaining animations, set to really lovely music, which, yeah, I do quite like the music that they used, so I really like the animations of Vampair. It's really unique way of storytelling, which, well, not unique as in never before seen, but as in the way that they tell the story, it's effective, and it's something that I really enjoy. It's a very, like, specific style which really suits me, which is, like, musicals, with very much not relying on dialogue per se, but very, like, blatant, in your face, but still without clearly expressed meanings. And, well, not clearly, but, like, you do need to, like, pay attention, but the music accompanying it kinda guides you along the story very, very well. And of course, I am a sucker for a good music synchronization. So yeah, it was really nice, a nice couple of animations that we watched. I would recommend them. Then the third piece of animation that we, or rather a series of animations that we watched with my friend, he was very lucky to come across this, and I'm so very satisfied about this series. And that was the animations from Gildedguy. And my goodness, they are just really some of the most entertaining combat scenes that I've seen in quite a while. They are, of course, like I already mentioned, very heavily music synchronized, and they are just constantly the impacts of the fights or encounters or the expressions and the movements are synced up to the music wonderfully well, and it, like, all of it is so expressive, and it's very colorful, and it's just okay, yeah, that sounds maybe kind of childish, but it's colorful, it's imaginative, it's beautiful, it's just really, really entertaining, very intriguing, and it's just some of my favorite animations that I have seen in quite a while. And of course it introduced me to, like, a couple of songs that I've been now listening to for the past week quite a bit, and yeah, that's always great. It's really nice to find new bands in this sort of method, and, like, accidentally kinda via these kind of ways, and yeah, that makes me just really happy. Like, these animations are all something, like the Gildedguy animations and the Vampair animations, those are something that I can wholeheartedly, without hesitation, recommend to anybody. So I would, well, okay, excluding children, of course, but that's kind of goes without saying. But yeah, Gildedguy has been, like, those animations have been really, really enjoyable. Go watch them. I'll leave a link. Then we move on to the games that I've been playing for recently and been finishing them as well, which is pretty fun. First of all, the two games I want to talk about are free games, which, Steam does have a really huge library of free games that are of like shockingly high quality. And the first one is Grimhook. It's a very short game, it's less than an hour, but it's a really fun kind of a power-up system. Like it's short arena brawler platform parkour game with really imaginative like abilities that you use and a very uniquely feeling sense of motion during combat that I have never felt ever anywhere before. It feels almost as if like free flowing, not dance particularly. Like the first things I could use to describe it came to my mind is like the way that Prince of Persia combat works, Sands of Time specifically, but in 3 dimensions. In the way that you just move from one enemy to another, just like with just so much fluidity and freedom of expression and how you want to fight. It's really enjoyable. It's a very short experience. I would very heavily recommend if you want a first-person parkour action game. That's a lot of tags there, and that's really rather important. But yeah, it's free, free, less than an hour. Go check it out. The second game I want to talk about is Outcore. Once again, a free game, and what a game it is! It's really an enjoyable desktop experience adventure game, which I quite enjoyed. It's not that long, it takes a couple of hours to play through, and the style of humor it has, I can absolutely see that it might really not fit anybody. Or like everybody. Very definitely doesn't fit everybody. But it is a very specific style of humor that like feels to me that it originates from the good old days of early 2000s internet culture, and yeah, it's very specific, but it's really enjoyable, at least to me. For a free game, I really enjoyed it. It's varied enough. The humor hits very well for me, and it has like very nice little story to it, and has some really nice creative tasks, and yeah, it's generally speaking kind of a really interesting fourth wall breaking game, and it does that, in my opinion, very well. So yeah, it is very specific, and I would kind of give like some, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it is something that you do need to realize is very specific and might not fit your tastes. But it's free, so, go and test it out, I guess. Now, first of the 2 games that I bought but are not roguelikes. Yeah, what a surprise. The first one is Chessformers, which is platformer chess game. It's, once again, a pretty short puzzle game with taking an interesting twist on how chess pieces move and giving it a nice little twist and making it interesting. Challenging enough. Not too, but just enough. It's varied and it's unique, and that uniqueness is what I appreciated from it. I liked it, but it is a very short experience, so I would recommend, if you want a puzzle game, yeah, feel free, it's fine, it's pretty nice, it's a unique take at the very least. So I liked it. I finished it, unfortunately, so I'm probably never going to play it again. It's one of the dilemmas of these kinds of games, especially these very static preset puzzle games, that once you finish them, there's literally nothing more to do. But hey, I enjoyed my time with it. The second game before we get to the roguelike section is VA11 Hall A, aka Valhalla, which is it's a visual novel. And if you don't like visual novels, there's really nothing I can say about this to make it any special for you. It's like with every visual novel, the amount of your enjoyment that you get from the game depends on, well, your engagement to the characters and how much you like them. I did quite enjoy them, and while the game has a lot of, shall we say, internet humor is not exactly the correct term, but it feels like it references internet style humor quite a bit, and there is a lot to that. Like, so that is not exactly a huge detriment to it, and it isn't tied to any specific references, but rather the style is very reminiscent of it. And there's a lot of like those kinds of little gags and jokes that are kinda from earlier, like 2010s and such. And yeah, those are heavily inspired there, but they are not prohibitively so that you could not enjoy them, I feel. And I really did like the mood. The characters were enjoyable and the story was enjoyable, and the biggest selling point is that it's very comfy and it's very nice and atmospheric, while still having a very solid narrative and characters behind, like very good characters driving the story behind it. And that's why I did enjoy myself ultimately, but I did actually struggle because the game, the main mechanic of making drinks is mostly just there so you have to actually do something. And yeah, that did keep me engaged, but not engaged enough, I feel. Not to the degree that it detracts from the game, but I wish they could have done more with that. And now I want to talk about a trio of roguelikes that I have recently, this month, been playing quite a bit. 2 of them released this month, and one of them I think released earlier, but regardless. For this section, I'm gonna be having all of the gameplays like playing here, not at the same time of course, as you can see, but pertaining to the game that I will be talking about. And if you want to see the whole runs, I'll upload them as hidden videos. I'll leave the links below. You can go and watch these specific runs. Now, of course, that means that there will be spoilers here, because those are all victorious runs. And yeah, victory means that you'll get spoiled about the game. But that's your warning. Now, the first game is Touhou Library Survivors. Now, I'm a huge sucker for Touhou, of course. That's just one of my favorite series ever, and it's like the way that the licensing works with the fact that you can... It's just fantastic. I really do like Touhou and all of its derivatives. And this is basically a Vampire Survivor-like, but with... Well, I've been kinda annoyed with Vampire Survivors always by the fact that you cannot aim your shots. And that's the first thing that always gives a game more depth, that you can actually aim where you're shooting, kinda. Or you get more control. And while, yeah, you know, Vampire Survivors is fine, I have nothing against the game specifically. This game, the grid system and the way that the upgrades and the spell linking and all that works is something that just strikes me the right way. Now, that might be the Touhou bias in me speaking. I am very well aware of that. I am not denying that. But I really did like the mechanic here. Now, unfortunately, after playing the game quite a bit, I have come to realize that it does not have enough depth for me. There's only the hardest challenges left, and yeah, that's not something I'm gonna do. While the game is really, really enjoyable, I do not want to waste that much really heavily get into it. Even though I see it's only like a matter of time, like getting adequately good rolls with what spells I get and stuff like that, and just doing proper prioritization and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to invest more time in the game, but it is fun for the time that I have had with it. And I would recommend, if you want, well, you can see the game. It speaks for itself. If you like Vampire Survivor likes, yeah, it's good. Twin Stick Arena Survivors. It's great. It's good. The second game, and a very, very fun and fantastic and really strikingly beautiful game, is Ravenswatch. This freaking game is so good. It's like, disregarding the next game, this is one of the best games I have played in quite a while. It's very easily for this year, one of the best. But hey, there's still half a year left. Holding out hope for Silksong. But yeah, it's a like Diablo clone combined with like Risk of Rain time management mechanics. First of all, I'll speak about the raid mechanics for the first time. We'll see how the game develops because it's still in early access. And the best, like really good thing about the game is that when you group up with your friends to play it, you can very solidly say that at most the run will take about an hour, because it's the way that the timer works in the game. And that is a really, really, really attractive thing, that you can just say, we have like a bit over an hour time, let's go play a run. Now, of course, there is the fact that the game is really solid, really fun, and really varied still behind it, and that makes it like feel that it's worth it. But the timer is something that I really do like, because you have certainty how long the runs take. So yeah, that's what I really like about it. Now, of course, the characters, the builds and stuff like that are something that I really do still like. It's fantastic. The characters are varied enough. The builds could use more variety, but that's something that the dev will be addressing, because yeah, currently there's something that especially few of my friends, or at least one of them, defaults to almost every single time, which, while you do not 100% guarantee that you get it, it's something that makes winning so much easier that it's really ridiculous. But still, it's just a really, really good game. One of the like best of recent times, and absolutely I'm excited to see how the development of the game continues. And then there was one. This is my, at least, running game of the year by a surprisingly large margin, and that is Rabbit and Steel, done by a solo developers. Like, it's unbelievable. The easiest way to explain the game is that it is MMORPG boss raid mechanics, the game. Not exactly accurate, but that's an easy way to describe it and give kind of a sense of the flow, that how the game goes, which is mostly like showcased when you play with more friends. Solo runs don't exactly allow you to show the wide variety of boss patterns that there are, but mostly it's a bullet hell survival game. And like I said with Touhou, that is something that I really do like, or that might have been apparent from Touhou. I didn't literally mention it, but I will here. I like bullet hell games. I'm really bad at them, but I really like them. And while Rabbit and Steel isn't quite literally a bullet hell game, it's more of a pattern recognition, pattern memorization, and snap decision making game. And of course, with multiplayers, it becomes a very highly group coordination game with very strict timers with how you coordinate. And It's still surprisingly forgiving, but it has such a good variety of variety with the loot, spills, characters, and everything. It's so much fun. I'm nowhere near done with the game. I'm gonna play so much more of this. It is kinda difficult for me, even in single player. I did beat, of course, with this run I did beat the normal difficulty, and with friends we've been beating that quite often, because with multiplayer it is surprisingly a bit more lenient, even though more mechanics get introduced, but still you get more lives because you can just resurrect yourself. Yeah, you do need to do more damage, but you have 2 people doing damage, or 3 or 4. And yeah, anyway, in short, this is, in my opinion, the best game of this year so far. And it's not even close. Even though there are a lot of good games that have already come out, and more that I have definitely missed, especially from the indie scene, and there are more that I need to get into desperately, that I've been looking at, that I need to get into, but I'm busy. This game is so good. And it's cute fluffy bunnies. You know, that's always nice. But yeah, I like this game so much. Now, that being said, I have already introduced everything. Now, I'll give a reminder. I have linked basically everything I'll try to link for the animations, which were all on YouTube. I'll try to remember to link those or their respective playlists or something. And with the games, I'll probably do that. And with the 3 runs for the roguelikes, if you want to see those to completion, I'll link those videos. And if you want to see some more content about these roguelikes, I could do like... I would really like to do more about roguelikes, because they are just like not even close, but they are my favorite genre. That and Metroidvanias, so... Now I thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. Ganmu out. I'm wanting to get back to video production, and I will. Thank you all very much.